Okay, balance in asymmetry. An example, one of my favorite examples of architecture is the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. When you go to see it and you see it up close, you'll wonder how Gaudi designed it or even drew it at the time that he made the design. It seems like everything was in his head, and he knew how to lay out the stones in symmetry and asymmetry. He's such a genius in architecture. Now, don't worry about this house. It's not a real house. It's a piece of sculpture, but it really challenges our mind to like it or not like it. It's your choice. Unity and minimalism. We're all excited about minimalism. This Barcelona pavilion, designed by Mies van der Rohe, is so simple that it only requires a long wall and a big reflecting pool to serve the purpose. Unity and variety. Filipino architecture and landscape architecture is largely characterized by Borloloy. Okay, I don't know where the term Borloloy came from, but at the time that it was coined, I thought it perfectly fit the concept of, the way that we like to decorate our space. Very Borloloy, but then you can still have unity in Borloloy, in the many different possibilities of structures, colors, textures, and end up with a good design. Achieve rhythm through repetition. Okay. So here's where I get to the meat of the topic. We are now facing problems of environmental degradations that's caused by us. We cannot blame others. It's not nature's fault, it's people's fault. So we need to shift our focus from the usual design principles to sustainable design principles. And I'll walk you through some pictures that might be familiar to you. I'm sure that once in your life you've been to places like this. This is the Banyan Falls in Cebu. Beautiful waterfalls, natural swimming hole. This is in Ambon Falls in Laurel, Batangas, where the trekking is a very interesting and exciting adventure just to get to the falls like this. This is Katibawasan Falls in Camiguin, and these are pictures I took of the last vacation we had there. See how nice the falls is. That's my family right down there. Okay. Now this is Mag-Aso Falls in Bohol. The next set of pictures I got from a blog. Okay. Now please take note. This is the blogger talked about the falls. They went there for the usual holiday. He took pictures from on top of a promontory, showing the falls. See, notice the white sheet of water. See the formation, the natural rock formation there. He took further pictures of the bottom layer. There's a raft there, and it's a usual place that we go to. This is on the downstream area. You see that there's a platform here and then a hut. The water is pretty shallow, so very nice to swim in. And you see these two persons here who are just part of the tourist group. They ventured into the back of the waterfalls. There they are. Okay. And then all of a sudden, okay, there was a rush of water. Nobody knew where it came from. It just happened at the time that the blogger was still taking pictures. And you see that the two men are still there behind the falls. You see how the sheet of water has turned brown. Okay? These are more pictures of the waterfalls. This is the supposedly shallow part downstream. You see that the hut has now water right up to the bench. This is the picture, the before picture. This is the after. And this is the more after. Okay? So from this type of waterfalls to this, it happened in split second. The end story here of the blog is that nobody knew what happened to the two men behind. But about 1 week later, they were found dead 5 kilometers downstream. Now, I show this to you, maybe to frighten you, as they had frightened me. And I showed it in the context of an ordinary person, an ordinary holiday maker, going to places like this, and heaven forbid that we become victims of nature, okay? Because nobody caused this, but I mean, it's nature ravaging down the waterfalls. But the root cause of the problem must probably be man. Somehow, somewhere in a distant area before the waterfalls, there had been trees that had been cut, okay? And there was a mountain that had fallen. And then somewhere far away we'll become victims to nature's fury. Okay? So we really need to stop and rethink. Now, such a scary intro to my design principles, but let me go back to the definition of sustainable design, also referred to as green design, eco-design, design for environment. Take note that this is not yet specific on architecture and landscape architecture, but also encompasses principles of economic, social, and ecological sustainability. The aim of sustainable design is to produce places, products, and services in a way that reduces the use of non-renewable resources, minimizes environmental impact, that's where we want to be, and to prevent any more of the mag-aso faults happening, and relates people with the natural environment. Now, take note, relating people with the natural environment. When I spoke to a group of students in Davao a few weeks ago, I asked them what kind of nature they enjoy now. And from Davaoeña like me, I described to them the kind of nature I enjoyed when I was young. It's a kind of nature where we could happily play in the rain and even play in the floods, because we live in a park, across a park, and then during the rare moments when typhoons hit Davao, we get the floods, and to us it was like a fiesta time. The little kids would go to the park and play in the flood. Now tell me, can you do that now? I asked my students, can you enjoy that now? Leptospirosis pa lang, you can die already by dipping in the flood. So the nature has changed from the time of my youth 1 million years ago to now. So we need to, I think our responsibility, my responsibility, my generation, is to try to restore that nature that I enjoyed and give it back to my kids and to my grandkids. The definition of green architecture is the art and science of designing with nature and for nature, employing construction methods that encourage and promote the use of renewable natural resources. This is a picture of a project that I made in Subic. This is the first picture I took the first time I visited the site. According to the architect, he asked me the question, which tree do you want to cut so that he can have it cut already? I looked at him with wide eyes and I said, why are we cutting the trees? And he said, because in the first place, they are in the way of a rotonda that he wanted to put in the front. This part of the building here is the main entrance. So it is in the way, and he thought that it is too obstructive. So I said, anyway, I'm your landscape architect, you leave it to me. So the end product of the design is this. I saved the trees look nice, the building looked nice with the trees. Remember, the trees are there before us, and they will probably outlive us all. So we really have no right to cut down the trees. In fact, in landscape architecture, we plant more trees. So I really cannot, in my conscience, cut a tree like as beautiful as these trees.